Lindsey. I am a professional career psychic medium, and I'm also a content creator, and I mentor with psychic development as well as provide readings for people. And I'm also an artist and a vocalist, and I'd like to be an actress, but I have no training. And I am also someone who has survived and come out on the other end of deep and long drug addiction with very hard drugs, with IV heroin and meth use for over 20 years. And I'm also someone who was, well, today they would call it sex trafficked. But I was pimped out when I was 13 years old, while I was tripping on acid for the first time ever, pretty much. And it played a huge role in things spiraling out of control for me. And the reason that I'm making this video is to bring awareness to child sexual abuse, and because I took responsibility for it for so long, because I didn't know what else to do. I didn't understand that it was severe sexual abuse, so I took responsibility for it. And in the form of, I chose to do it. Well, no, what actually happened is that a guy who was in his 20s gave me an ultimatum, said, you do this or you can take off down the road, which I was in like the worst part of town in Cincinnati, Ohio. It was dark. I was 13, tripping on acid, and I was in an alley. Like, I knew that if I took off on foot, like if I wouldn't have been tripping on acid, I probably would have taken off on foot. But being that I was tripping on acid, like 3 hours into a trip on acid, eating 2 hits of blotter acid in 1995, like I wasn't comfortable taking off on foot. I was surprised I was walking, you know? So, it was a very traumatic experience. And this is the issue. I talked about it. I went to one of my sisters and I told my sister, and I also told my mother, and my mom tells me now that she asked me what the name of the person was that pimped me out, but I wasn't about to say the name of the guy who did it, who pimped me out, because I have a father who is an ex-Marine in Vietnam who was scary, and I didn't want him ending up in jail or something like that. But what my point is that if a child comes to you, I think this is so hard now because I'm a mother. So when a child comes to you with something like this, yes, it is important to find the perpetrator. Okay, I get it. But it is more important to get your child the help that they need, so it doesn't get bottled up inside and turn into a monster. when they're an adult. I went through a lot of things with this shit. And if I wasn't such a conscious psychic, and have this like extra sensory awareness of what was going on, I could very well be a monster myself. It fucks with your head. If it's not, it turns into PTSD, and PTSD turns into intrusive thoughts. And intrusive thoughts are thoughts that your mind spits out that has nothing to do with anything, but it has everything to do with the most monstrous, just filthiest things that then cause this like internal reaction. And if you're not aware and you know that it's not you, then it could really, and it's like, I understand perpetrators. I understand them because I have gone through the mental shit that happens when you don't get the help that you need, and what goes on in the mind. And if somebody really thinks that their mind is who they are and they're not aware that it's a separate thing, people get caught up in their mind thinking that it's them. So I used drugs and alcohol over it for a long time too, just to shut it up. And I know that there's a lot of people out there doing the same thing. And so I just have found, because even in adulthood, if I go to talk about it, my mom said to me, well, we asked you what the guy's name was. Which I don't remember her doing that, but she probably did. And I know exactly why I wasn't going to tell her, because of my dad. But that isn't the point. That's not the point. The point is the kid and what they need and what help, figuring out what help they need. Worry about that later. In retrospect, it doesn't even matter. What matters is your kid. What matters is the effects. So I talked about it, but I guess nobody was listening. Or, I was a very difficult child. So I'm not blaming anybody, but I did say something. And it seemed to all be focused on, well, who did it? Why does it matter who did it? So, I understand this, so they don't do it to somebody else. But the main part is that it's your child, and please get them help. Don't worry about who did it. First thing is getting your child help, and helping them learn how to deal with PTSD and prepare them for what may come, and how to deal with those things when they do come. So, they're not living through a vicious cycle. I have gone through years of adult prostitution, and things, I was caught in some pretty messed up cycles, which I'm out of finally. Thank God. I'm 41. And so, I got through it, but I wouldn't wish what I've gone through on anyone. But it is possible to heal from these things. and it is possible to move on and completely change your life and be a good person